Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
And, you know, we need to have Sigmund follow us around, and every time when Rob's out, it says, and Gina!
Yes! We always talk about how awesome that voice is, man. He's definitely in the right career.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, I wanted to follow up with one last thing with Pulte. Definitely, as a real estate professional, it is also great to have a building partner that puts the client first. There's many, many builders out there that will tell clients that walk in, oh, no, we can get you a better deal without an agent. Pulte is actually one that embraces representation for the buyer. They want that buyer to be represented. They want that buyer to have someone helping them through the entire process to make sure that there's someone in their corner. Not that Pulte's not. They are. But it's totally different having a salesperson that's helping you out rather than someone that has a fiduciary duty that is going through and has gone through every step of the way multiple times and knows what to ask and knows what to watch for and knows where some of the tricky parts are to be able to ease their concerns. And I really respect that about Pulte. And they never, ever go to the standard, oh, well, we can get you a better deal if you don't use a realtor. They never do that.
I appreciate you bringing that up because we really respect the relationship that we have with our realtor partners. We need them. We really do. We rely on them, their expertise, the trust that they've been able to build with their customers. And if you look at what we've done in Houston, 1,000 sales and closings this past year, 720 of them were co-broke with realtors. So, I mean, that just speaks volumes to the relationships that we have. You're right. Some builders out there will pay salespeople commission differently if it's a realtor sale or not. They will give better deals to customers if there's a realtor or not, because there is that cost to do business. But we know that cost is valued and worth every penny that we pay. So we have a great relationship with the realtor community.
Well, you know, our next guest, I was talking about windows and replacing windows and the cost of that, and he was giving me the evil eye when I was talking about just getting a new home instead. So
that's called the stink eye.
The stink eye, yeah. He was giving
Are you talking about me? I don't know what you're talking about.
So he may have a differing opinion on those windows. I need new windows. I do. I hate my windows. I hate them. And I'm looking at that bill of replacing them, going, oh gosh,
That's a mighty strong word.
I do. They're single pane. I mean, it's like I could cook a hot dog on the window, in summertime. It's just ridiculous. And that's one of those things where it's like, I'm out and about. I do, seminars and classes on credit all the time, and I work with a lot of builders around town. And I'm in these new houses all the time, and I'll know this house is selling for $250. I'm like, $200. This is like crazy better than my house, and it's not that much more. So it's amazing how far technology has come along in that. And one of those things is windows. That's like a hot button for me because I have the cheap. I was going to say builder grade.
Oh my gosh!
Now I'm getting stink eye from another person in the room.
Nightmares on radio.
Yes.
Oh man.
Oh, that is a.
They were.
Term
I'm sure they were in '92. I'm sure they were the latest and greatest things, but they're definitely not now. They're horrible windows.
Yeah, there's a lot to choose from top to bottom. Inside and out, finishes and everything else that changed dramatically over the last few decades, and technology has come a long way.
Do you guys do a lot of window stuff?
We do, but
I'm just throwing you on the spot here.
There's a lot of companies out there that
specialize in windows.
Window replacement.
Yeah.
Did you actually do an introduction? I don't think you.
No,
introduced our guest.
I'm terrible now as a host.
Well, I do know Chris. I've seen Chris before, so it's good to see Chris again.
Likewise. That is Aaron Brittain. He is with Happy Medium. He is a very, very good home remodeler. And as we tell everybody is, one of the things, speaking about nightmares, one of the things, if you don't know a good remodeler out there, it can be a nightmare to have to go through, an enhancement that you're doing, whether it be a kitchen or a bathroom or any type of add-on to your home. And let me tell you, you've always had raving reviews from all your clientele.
Well, thank you for saying that.
And you have a very good reputation out here. Let us know a little bit about that. Let's talk about, again, some of the real estate nightmares that we see. What are you seeing as some of the topics that people are most interested in improving or changing about their home? And what are some of the challenges sometimes that they present along the way?
Well, if I may kind of speak from an ideal standpoint, because a lot of our clientele are repeat customers or referrals. So that's mostly the business that we do, which is ideal. So I'm coming from a really good place.
Right.
So trying to speak about the nightmares, a lot of times it has to do with people's, ignorance, if I may. Just they haven't had the experience of owning a home, so they don't really know what to do. So they ask around, relatives, friends, things like that. But then ultimately it boils down to their budget. And so these are the first conversations we have. What is your budget and what are you trying to accomplish? And so the challenge of making those two meet in the middle and making sense out of that, that's where the nightmare begins. Because
essentially you're trying to find a happy medium.
I want
yes.
$10,000 upgrade for $3,000.
Right. I mean, if you don't know what the price is, because there was one time this young lady, probably just out of college, and she had a townhome right off of San Felipe, I believe, and she wanted to replace the tub. And so when that complex was originally built, the tubs were installed when the framing was still going on, which that's the process. The tub is one of the first things that goes in. So they built the whole place around the tub. She's like, well, how long is this going to take? A couple days, And so it's like, no, I mean, we got to cut this tub out of here. We've got to investigate these walls. This building's, 40, 50 years old. We got to see what's going on and then put it all back together and know it's not going to take 2 days and cost, $5,000. Yeah, right. So, there's
because I got $500 to invest, and I'm looking to get this tub done.
Yeah, in townhomes you can buy them for pretty inexpensive. So
and that includes the tub.
Yes. But there are the challenges to me are because trust is a huge topic here in everybody's business. But trying to develop trust, and so saying to somebody like, this is the money that you have to spend, and this is what you're trying to accomplish. So let's really talk about what that means.
I would absolutely agree. And, one of the things I think, and I think it's a good thing we've all spoken about right here is, engaging with somebody with an open, honest conversation. I tell everybody is you're never, ever going to fail if you have a clear line of communication and you talk about what it takes to make it happen. Well, you are going to have failure, though, is if it's not clearly spoken. The other thing I tell everybody is mistakes happen all the time. Own up to them.
Exactly.
And I tell everybody, no matter what you do, I tell you, I respect somebody, and I do the same as mistake is making, you know what, I made a mistake. I apologize, right? Let's move forward. Let's see what we can do from this moment forward, because sometimes things do happen. And the one thing I think that sometimes happens, especially within real estate, within home remodeling, within new home purchases, within moving, etc., is if a mistake makes, the human reaction is, how can I defend myself? And a lot of times the reaction really needs to be is acknowledgement, and then how can we move on for satisfaction right there?
Yeah. I mean, years ago, to tie in, something that brilliant a friend of mine said, and it really kind of impacted me throughout life.
I appreciate that.
Did I say
it? It was like 20-odd years ago, and me and a high school friend went to a concert, and it was a concert that had just a whole slew of insanely gifted musicians. And there was 2 different guitar players, and one of them played a solo, and it was amazing, and the other one played a guitar solo. And only to really a music aficionado would you notice that he had a flub and how he recovered after that, And we were out walking in the parking lot. I said, they were both amazing, but I think the first guy was better. And this genius, musician friend of mine who went on to get a master's degree in music and plays like 800 instruments and all this sort of thing, said, he goes, technically you're right. The first guy was better. He goes, but sometimes the genius isn't in executing it flawlessly. It's in how you recover. And I was like, wow, that is actually very profound, because, you can practice something and do it right. Great. You do it right the first time. It's wonderful. Everybody's happy, but mistakes happen. I mean, we're human, there's going to be the flub. It's unavoidable, right, that it happens. It's how you recover from that flub that really shows the character of that person, their genius, if you will, and how they recover. That's where so many people fail. They may set out to do a good job, whatever else, and have the intention, and it's when the flub happens, facing that and owning up to it is when they flake out and disappear on you.
Right.
They may have had all the good intentions in the world to begin with, but that's where own it exactly.
Right.
I think that's one of the biggest things from a business owner's perspective, to find the people that are willing to say I was wrong, step up, and make it right. That's a beautiful thing to find.
And every once in a while, I have a subject matter that really, really entices you to speak a lot. So
yes.
Well, I've got to say, my clients, there's times when they're on a very tight budget when they're buying a new home. So they'll purchase the home, and then in a couple years, they've saved enough money, and they want to change the standard product. They'll want to take off the counters and put granite in, or they'll want to put an outside kitchen or whatever. And the challenge is finding a good remodeler.
Right.
So what has happened a lot of times is they will shop price. They'll get somebody to go out and start a job, and then they won't finish it. So I try to educate my client.
That's a real nightmare.
Yes, it is.
Right, yes.
Or they will do such substandard work that you get out there and you just shake your head and say, what is going on? Yeah. So I try to educate them that it is quality that you're paying for, not just because look at what you've paid for. Now you're going to have to pay twice to get it done right.
That's a huge challenge. I
So,
mean, the thing that for a new builder like Pulte, they get to go in and they start from scratch and they build something new and they say, look, this is all shiny, and come in and buy it. And that's wonderful, but there's a different side of that where you've owned the home, you live there for a while, and you want to make modifications. Maybe you knew you wanted to make modifications before you even purchased it. That's fine. But the challenge is that, when you have a remodel, they tend to be a smaller company. We don't work in 26 countries and sell 20,000 units a year. So our name isn't going to be out there in the same way with that type of reputation. So a lot of times people go through referrals and they do searches online to find a remodeler. But what the real challenge is that people are so driven by their budget. So they have to be willing to have a serious discussion about the money that they have, the equity they have in their home, and the actual work that they want to do, and be realistic about it. Put a whole plan together, phase it out if you have to.
Exactly.
But get somebody that's going to be reputable and that I've never not finished a project. We finish all of our projects, and sometimes even to my own detriment. But you're going to get a great referral. You're going to get a very happy customer.
Exactly.
And that's what you're looking for.
Exactly.
And, one of the things, we're coming up against a break again right now, but one of the things that I want to do as an open mic when we get back is a nightmare to me is when individuals use price as a decision-making criteria. Because
price alone.
Because there's two sides of things, right? Number one is price is not an indication of it being the best. And also, pricing is not the best way to go and shop for something either. The cheapest isn't always the best either. You can end up paying more in the long term. So we're going against a break right now. When we come back, let's all talk about that if you don't mind.
A hole and a trap. I don't worry about the flights or count the stairs.